Hi, welcome to Hold the Light, a show for lifelong learners who are curious about the ways we can deepen our connection to our personal and spiritual growth. I'm Lori Gunning-Grossman. I'm here to hold the light for the light holders of the world. So if you've been listening to my podcast, you know that recently I spoke with Carissa Schumacher. Carissa is a forensic psychic medium, an empathic intuitive, a sacred ceremony facilitator, and a full-body channel for Yeshua. She's also one of my spiritual teachers. When we spoke in our original conversation on episode 23, one topic we discussed was, how do we find peace and hope at this point in time? What can help us right now as we move into a new era and a new cycle on our planet? In case you haven't heard that conversation yet, I wanted to share this excerpt with you because it feels important and necessary and expansive. And I just like it. Here's what Carissa shared. What do you want people to leave this conversation holding in their heart or having heard or something to contemplate? What would that be?
Firstly, I would deeply like to invite those that are listening to listen to Yeshua's most recent transmission from October 12th. This was 5 days after the events in Israel occurred, and there are too many aspects of this transmission for me to be able to summarize right now. And so I'm mentioning this because it is the only transmission that I have allowed to be hosted publicly online. It is on Elise Lonin's podcast, Pulling the Thread, from October 12th. Listeners that may actually want to hear a Yeshua transmission and a recent one, the Freedom Transmissions, was, of course, it was the foundation, but it was from 2020. So listeners that may want to learn a little bit more, or those of you that are experiencing a lot of grief right now or frustration surrounding the state of the world and some of the events that are taking place as we move through this era shift. That specific transmission, it's under the category on Elisa's podcast, Air the Grievances, Not the Grievances. And it is delicious. It is mother's milk with regards to helping to instill a sense of peace and a sense of hope. The Freedom Transmissions is, of course, something that I pray many of you will find your way to, because Yeshua in the Freedom Transmissions, he's speaking directly to you. So I can answer this question, Lori. Yeah. But I wanted to mention that the specialness, I feel like I'm just the secretary for spirit in this life. Like, that's it. I'm just the secretary. I'm not special. I was born with a weird brain. I won't go into the neuroscience of it. But I want to impart to the listeners how special it is to experience this personal relationship with the one consciousness, or the transcendent, eminent, and emergent light. With regards to what I wish to share, we are moving into a cycle on our planet in which we deeply, in order to move into this new era, the era of Christ consciousness, the era of masculine and feminine balance, the era of transparency, the era of co-creation, as we are moving into this new era, one of the great mantras to carry with you in your heart is, be the moral, not the story. You, as a light holder, You are the moral. Many, many people get very stuck in the story of their shame, the story of their unworthiness, the story of their disempowerment, the story of who is to blame for all of their issues. The story, when you become attached to the story, you can never connect to the moral. And that doesn't mean that the story doesn't matter. Of course, there's the story of your life and all those that you loved and all of these experiences that have evolved you and grown you into this incredible vessel of love, of light, of peace, of kindness. Kindness that you are. The light is the moral. Be the moral, not the story. The divine elder is attached to nothing but connected to all. When you are connected to the vertical, when you are living from the moral, the resurrection, instead of the void, the death, the story, you are operating from a completely different power system. The power of the divine light that is not just beyond you, that is not just all around you, but actually is emergent from within you. That is power. The power of peace. The power of acceptance. The power of joy. How powerful is joy? I've said this before, but in those moments that you're having an argument and everybody's yelling and then somebody farts and you just all start laughing, the power of the joy and the humility completely outpowers the hatred and the fear and the blame. With all sorts of people attached to the story and their self-righteousness and I'm right and you're wrong. Joy is so powerful. It explodes that. Grief is sacred. Grief is powerful. It cleanses you so that you can resurrect. So for those of you that are in a period of void or tomb or emptying out, and for those of you that are in the sanctification, that you're ready for a change, you feel it coming, but you don't know exactly what it's going to be, surrender. The power of the light is your power source. It regenerates. You are one with it. The divine is not just asking us to worship a transcendent God or to look around for all the eminent God, the signs. Where are the signs? I didn't see a hawk today. I didn't see 11:11 on the clock. The divine has betrayed me. I'm not feeling my late grandmother today. What's happening? The eminence is fine, but what we are asked, what is being asked of us for all those who have incarnated on the planet at this time, what is being asked of us is to allow for the emergence of the light. Meaning there's no gurus, people coming to be our saviors. Like the Hopi have said, we are the ones that we have been waiting for. Mm-hmm. So just because you've had difficulty or faced judgment within your life, do not abdicate responsibility for this, for your power, for your love, for your presence in this life. It is sacred. It is needed. And I am so grateful to each and every one of you who are still listening for being what you are, embodying what you do. and holding the light for this special, special planet that we call home. For now.
To hear my full conversation with Carissa Schumacher, be sure to listen to episode 23. You can also listen to another excerpt on episode 24, where Carissa shares some ways to connect and stay connected to your light and your spiritual growth. Visit the show notes for direct links. And to learn more about Carissa, visit her website, thespirittransmissions.com. There you can find out about her journeys, her book, The Freedom Transmissions, and other ways that you could work with her. Thanks all. Keep holding the light. Thank you for listening to Hold the Light. For more information about this episode and the topics discussed, visit our show notes or find more at holdthelightcollective.com or on Instagram at holdthelightcollective. This podcast is produced by me, Lori Gunning-Grossman. Jonathan Grossman is our co-producer and all-around sound guru. He also wrote the original music. This podcast is recorded and mixed at Night Shift Audio in Los Angeles, California. Finally, if you like the show, please rate, review, and share it with a friend. Let's share the light with each other.